What's up everyone? Welcome back to WRX Garage. This video has been long overdue, and I know a lot of you guys are kind of anxious to hear what my impressions are with the entire new suspension setup and power setup I have in the car. I really wanted to do this video the right way, and I didn't want to skimp out because I didn't have enough driving time under my belt, or I wanted to get a really good amount of seat time with this setup so I can give you guys my an accurate review and accurate impressions of what I think. And overall, I've just fell in love with this car all over again. So for those of you guys who are just clicking on this video and haven't seen any of our videos before, I'm going to link down in the description two videos. One is an overview of the power setup I have on the car, and then one is a video of the entire suspension setup I have in the car. So if you guys want something super in detail, please go watch those two videos. Otherwise, I'll just give you guys a quick rundown. The car is making, it's a 2016 Subaru WRX, making just over 400 wheel horsepower, and I think it's at 375 torque, so pretty conservative. I am pretty much full bolt-ons except for turbo and headers on E85 flex fuel kit from Cobb. And for suspension, I have the Fortune Auto 500 Coilovers cranked up to the not the stiffest setting, but close to it. I have the full Whiteline sway bar kit and end links front and rear Whiteline lower control arms, and then the Whiteline roll center adjustment kit, or the bump steer kit in the front, which really made a big difference. So I have all that done. A couple other things for the car that you guys might want to know. I am running NK TS10s, which are 18 by 9.5 plus 35 offset. I have all four fenders rolled out pretty far so I can lower the car pretty well. The car is lowered about, I think it's about 2.5 inches. And then for the tires, I have, these are Continental Extreme Contact Pros, Continental Extreme Contact Sports. These are 265/35, so they are pretty meaty. That's one of the reasons why I can't go as low as some of the other guys out there, is because I don't like extreme camber. I like performance setup for camber, and I like having more grip and more comfort rather than a thinner wall tire with a stretch on these wider wheels. So that is the car. I'm gonna shut up now and we're gonna do some driving clips. I have a wonderful, amazing canyon road that goes out to Estes Park near me. So I'm going to go drive out there, drive through the canyons. Hopefully the camera setup works well. I'm gonna try to figure out something for what works the best for the hearing the sound of the car. Yeah, let's do some driving clips. So hopefully you can hear me well, and this is actually a good angle for doing this. We're going into one of my favorite canyons here. I'm on my way to a climbing trip right now. So I just wanted to reiterate some of the things. I don't think I explained things the best way in the intro there, but one thing I wanted to cover and talk to you guys about was the difference between physical grip or actual grip and mechanical grip. When I was talking about my wheel and tire setup and the suspension setup, suspension and sway bars and end links and the bump steer kit and all that, that is all contributing to what's called mechanical grip. Physical grip is the actual effect that your tires have on the road. So with a dedicated summer tire set like I have, that is wide with a 265 tread width, that width and the tire compound combine to have some really good, like, actual grip on the road. When we're talking about mechanical grip, essentially what we're doing is we're talking about the ability of the suspension to maintain better contact and better grip throughout corners, when the car is under heavy load on one side, The width of the wheels, so wider wheels, not even, it doesn't even matter about wider tires, wider wheels themselves helps with reducing body roll as well, because now you have a more stable plane across the axles. Suspension, the stiffer your suspension is, the least likely you'll have body roll. And when you have body roll, essentially you're removing and reducing the amount of grip on the inside wheel during a corner. So the flatter you can keep the car, the more stable it is throughout a curve. And of course, the more equal the grip is activated across all 4 tires. So with this car, one of the biggest issues is actually understeer, which means the rear end of the car, the suspension setup is a little weak. And so when you're in a hard corner, the front of the car tends to travel away from the corner more than the rear does, which is not what you want. What you want is a stiffer rear end that's going to help the car rotate around a corner. Essentially, you're trying to hit your slip angle in the rear or close to it. And with this car, you just end up getting more grip in the front. So with this setup, with this stiffer rear suspension and the stiffer rear sway bar and the aggressive setting, or I have the medium setting currently selected for the sway bar, but it still does a great job at helping the back of the car rotate around. I'm not talking about drifting. Obviously, it's an all-wheel drive car, and I don't make enough power quite yet to spin the tires on corners. But overall, as a driver, you can actually feel it when you're hucking this car into a corner and really, turning the wheel over and holding yourself in the seat. You can really feel that rear end rotating more and just allowing you to put more and more power and maintain more momentum through these corners. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the steering feel in these cars. I did talk about this earlier in an earlier segment when I was talking about what the bump steer kit does, or the roll center kit. With this entire suspension setup, when I am at higher speeds on the highway, or even just in corners especially, the steering feel just feels a lot better. One thing that people complain about is that this has an electronic steering rack versus the STI, which has the hydraulic steering rack. And a downside of the electronic version on the WRX, so we have, is the steering feel is not the greatest. The roll center kit and the stiffer sway bars really combine to improve how this car feels just through steering input. Through a corner, it's heavy. It does want to come back to center really well. I haven't done any caster adjustment, but despite that, it feels really good in the hands. It doesn't feel too heavy, but it definitely feels like it's locked in the center, and it's just smooth inputs, and you can feel the car just want to go in each direction you go. At high speeds on the highway specifically, going over bumps, making lane changes, again, the car just feels so stable and flat. I really could not recommend this suspension setup more. And right now, I'm going over uneven pavement, and we're not going too fast, but pretty big curves here. We're going deeper into the canyon now, which means that we're going to be, taking some pretty sharp turns here. I wish there wasn't as much traffic in front, but that's quite all right. We might be able to get some better driving clips on the way out. But let me give you guys a quick driving segment here. I will let the cars ahead of me kind of drift some, give me some room to work with. So that was second gear, that was only 17 PSI. I've hit 25 in this car in the middle of summer, but it is a bit cooler today, which is nice. With some of these canyon roads, I really hope I get some open road on the way back so I can really show you guys what this car can do. Hey guys, so editor Kevin here. Just a quick thing. I am not really happy with how some of those driving clips came out, just the audio quality and the video quality. So what I'm gonna do is in the future, I'm gonna be spending over the winter, trying a bunch of different camera and mic setups. I'm gonna be buying some new microphones dedicated for just creating those driving clips because I do want to improve that. So keep that in mind. Improvements are coming, but anyways, back to the video. So one thing that I think the camera doesn't do much justice for on this car is showing you how hard you can huck this thing into the corners. Yes, the car is all-wheel drive. Yes, I'm running some pretty sticky tires, but honestly, on these public roads, especially in a canyon like that, you know, where you have rock walls and then rivers and guardrails on the edges of the road for most of the time, you know, I can't drive to the absolute limit like you can on a track, where there's usually berms and tire walls and things like that, where, you know, if you slide off, you know, you should be generally okay. So that being said, I will tell you guys, with this Whiteline suspension setup and with these amazing coilovers from Fortunato and these amazing tires and the power this car has, the car is just absolutely amazing. I can feel how flat this car stays in corners, and I've actually been in a couple of car groups that have gone through that canyon before, and I think that my car is probably one of the best handling and best setup for handling in these sharp corners. Some of the roads are banked a little bit, but you know, they're roads that are marked at 25, 15 mile per hour corners, and I'm going 65, 70 through them, because the car is able to stay so flat, it almost feels like you're driving a go-kart. The car just feels absolutely amazing. I don't really know what else to say. Talking about specifics about, for the handling aspect, in terms of steering input, the bump steer kit does wonders, especially in corners, for keeping the wheel, the wheel input like linear, and it helps combined with the front sway bar and the rear sway bar. When you're turning the wheel into corners, the feedback through the corner, you can really feel the amount of grip, and you can feel the rear end rotating out back around you, which is a big issue for these cars, because usually they understeer. So the combination of all those things really lets you have better control, better feel, and just be really confident when driving this car. I've talked to you guys about all the pros. Let me take a quick second about the cons of this setup. With this setup, with a front motor, with the pitch stop brace, with stiffer suspension, with the harsher, thicker front and rear sway bars and the end links, with a slightly more aggressive camber setup. All of these things combined, compared to a stock car, it's not going to be 100%, you know, the same comfort, the comfortability. For those of you guys who are auto enthusiasts, I'd say that this car is still very comfortable. I am looking at our aftermarket seats, which are gonna help with bolstering in the corners, but also these stock seats are not really the most comfortable, just not because of the seat itself, but mostly because of the geometry. The way I sit very straight in my seat, the way I have it set up, and the bottom of the seat is not enough of an angle down for me to support the bottom of my legs. So sometimes, you know, I get a little bit of fatigue in my legs when I'm going through these, you know, really spirited driving, when I'm doing that for, you know, 30 minutes to an hour straight of driving like that. Sometimes you get a little bit of fatigue with your feet hovering on the pedals or controlling the pedals. So hopefully a deeper bucket seat or an aftermarket seat will help with that. But in terms of vibration coming up into the car from bumps in the road, overall NVH, it's not terribly noticeable. I do have a bunch of kill mat installed, sound deadening material in all of my doors, the trunk, and just all the doors in the entire trunk. I haven't done the roof or the floor or the front firewall. You will feel more vibration up in the wheel because of the stiffer suspension, because of the stiffer sway bars. That's just kind of the sacrifice you have to make. But when I say vibration, I'm not talking about rattling your teeth. Vibration, I'm just saying actually in the wheel itself, and sometimes in the pedals you can feel through your feet a little bit. It's just that little bit more. I don't mind it personally, and I've had passengers in the car and I've asked them, hey, you know, do you mind this, you know? And they're really fine with it. I did switch out to a less aggressive exhaust setup. So the noise from the exhaust, that change has really been beneficial for improving the interior quality, the sound quality inside the car, and making it a little bit more comfortable for people who aren't used to this kind of car. But we'll see what they think about aftermarket seats and harnesses. But anyways, to be completely honest, looking back, I wish I had done some of these things in a different order. I wish I had done the handling first. I think that I was, for a very, very long time, the steering input on this car did not feel good at all. And with these upgraded sway bars in the front, but also the bump steer kit from Whiteline, those two things combined really, really helped keep this car feeling really good, or it improved the feeling, the drive feel, and the steering input feel. I would have done those way sooner. I may have also bumped up to the more aggressive 510 coilovers from Fortunato, because they do have on the upper end better handling at higher speeds. And from what I've heard, they are still very, very comfortable around in the street. So maybe I would have opted out for something like that, or maybe opted for the Swift Springs replacement, which I still might do on the car. This car it's a beast. I can't wait to be able to take it on the track, and I am looking at doing that very soon. Unfortunately, these wheels and tires are going away for a couple of months now that the winter is starting. We already had our first snow, so this drive I managed to find a nice 65, 70 degree day, so it's probably gonna be one of the last ones for the winter. Thank you guys so much for watching. There are a bunch of things I still wanna do with this car, and for those of you who have been following along for a long time, you know, I think you'll probably be really pleasantly surprised with what I do. So if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and for all of those who have supported us all this time, thank you so much. So that's all we have for this one. We will see you guys in the video next week. Peace.